Member Cole for allowing me to speak on my amendment this afternoon. Mr. Chairman, you've heard me speak about PBMs, and as you can imagine, my amendment is about PBMs. But two things I want to point out. You just made a statement, Mr. Chairman, that I have to correct. You said that some of these drugs, and many of these drugs, don't do any good if you can't afford them. I would submit to you that none of these drugs do any good if you can't afford them. If you can't afford to buy it, none of them are going to do you any good. So I just want to make sure we understand that. The only other thing I want to point out before I'll get into my written testimony here is the fact that, as I stated earlier, only 37% of the price of a drug goes to the pharmaceutical manufacturer. The other 63% goes to the PBM, i.e. insurance company. Now, you've cited numbers on how much money that pharmaceutical manufacturers spend on research and development. How much do PBMs, how much do insurance companies spend on research and development? Absolutely nothing. That's how much they spend on research and development. At least the drug companies are spending some of it on research and development. So if you want to do some good, do away with rebates, period. Or make sure they're done at the point of sale. Make sure they're done at the point of sale so that they can go where they should go, and that is to the patient. That's why, Mr. Chairman, it's important for us to lower drug costs without the risk of fewer cures by forcing pharmacy benefit managers to fully pass rebates to patients at the pharmacy counter. My amendment would do just that. It would force the PBMs to pass every last penny, not just some of it, but every bit of it, to the patients at the pharmacy counter instead of letting the PBMs steal those dollars to pad their own pockets. The PBMs, i.e. the insurance companies. In 2020, more than half of all spending on brand prescription medicines went to someone other than the biopharmaceutical manufacturers who researched, developed, and manufactured the medicines. My Democratic colleagues claim to want to lower drug costs, but they're letting PBMs off scot-free. PBMs offer nothing. They offer nothing to patients, and they certainly do not help lower drug costs. They bring no benefit whatsoever to the healthcare system. Furthermore, what's outrageous is that the Biden administration, on one hand, has finalized the DIR rule, yet on the other hand, Congress is using the rebate rule, which operates under the same principle of returning price concessions to patients at the point of sale, as a piggy bank to enable its prolific spending spree. In fact, the CMS Office of the Actuary estimated that its DIR policy would save seniors a total of $33.1 billion in cost sharing over the next 10 years. And even when accounting for the purported increase in Medicare D premiums, which I dispute, and numerous external studies and organizations also, beneficiaries on net still save $21.3 billion over that period of time. The rule clearly states lower point of sale prices would result directly in lower cost sharing costs for non-low income beneficiaries. And on average, we expect these cost sharing decreases would exceed the premium increases. While I don't agree with the rule's premise that this policy would increase premiums, I'm glad that HHS and CMS on the same page that this policy would still save patients money at the pharmacy counter, significantly more money than any purported premium impact. Which leads me to my next question for my Democratic colleagues. How did the CMS Office of the Actuary, the same office who I understand conducted the analysis in this year's Part D rule and DIR policy, so-called rebate rule would have saved patients over $25 billion in the net cost over 10 years? To clarify, that means the aggregate reduction in patient cost sharing would have been $25 billion greater than the estimated premium increase. Why are they okay with saving patients at the pharmacy counter in the DIR rule, but insist on separately using the rebate rule, which would do likewise for patients, as a piggy bank for new Obamacare spending and unrelated energy programs? If you truly care about lowering drug costs, you should vote for my amendment and stop letting PBMs get away with these egregious practices in this highway robbery. And I've just got to end it with this. I've had at least 3 Democratic colleagues come to me and say, you're right, our policy is wrong. Now, they're going to vote for your bill. There's no question. They told me I got to vote for it. But they have come to me and told me personally, next session, when y'all are in charge, we want to work with you to get these PBMs to lower drug prices. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield.